Nowadays, there are a lot of fake news and non-reliable information that are being spread on the internet. Some information we could see that they are not reliable at all, but in fact it is reliable. And some information at the first glance of our eyes, it could be seen that they are very reliable and we can trust the source of information. But in fact, they are not reliable at all because they contain some fake elements and into some idea that we cannot think that that source of information is true. So the relation between the non-reliable and reliable information has getting too complex. That is why me and my teammates have brought up the solution to that. And the solutions, which is the skill that we have learned from the critical thinking skill, which is the judging credibility of sources of information. So to identify the source of information, we have brought up four main elements, which is the first one, you have to check through the contact whether or not they are supported with any other source. And then you can also check for the expertise in the information to see whether they have the expertise in the field of information. And third things that we should do is that we should also check for the nature of claim. If the claim is aligned with the nature or not, what is likely or what is unlikely. And then finally, we could also say that the source is reliable because they contain the evidence as well. The example that I have bring today is PubMed. PubMed is the website for a medical student to conduct a research and getting the source of information from that. One reason is that PubMed is very famous is because PubMed has known that the data from the PubMed contain many expertise, and as well as all of those experts have the technical skill and scientific skill in respective to their field. So that is why we could trust the information that have conducted by those authors. And how could we know that those authors are reliable? We can check the information that provided or cited by the website. For example, so for you're going to check for a source of information that related for a medical field. So in that case, you just type in the title of the article that you want to research, and then there will be a list of author, and then you can click on their name and it will show their professions. So in this case, we can say that if they are an expert and they write the article based on their professions, we could trust the data that they have collected and written. So this is just one key feature in identifying the source of information. And then my teammate will elaborate more.
Next, reputations. Knowing about other identity, history, or previous activity also one of the techniques that used to measure the reliable source, whether it is reliable or not. Okay, for instance, one of the information that have posted in social media from the account name Visna that have stated that the world will get flooded by the water that comes from the ground in 2022. By looking at his status, there is no evidence or other source that help support his evidence. And also by looking at the identity or his reputations, meaning that he have no experience of being a forecaster, and he is also one of the well-known electors. So it is impossible that it is likely to be true.
And there are two types of sources that can be reliable for you to justify, which are primary sources and secondary sources. So primary source like hearing from someone who's experienced an event directly, and it's like prove that something that is directly true already because it is the original information. So secondary source is like reading an article about an event from someone who didn't experience it directly. It is like an article about other people, but it is the secondary information from the other primary sources. For an example, the primary source of the video footage of the moon landing is the direct visual record of the event. And for the secondary source, it is a documentary about the moon landing, while the primary sources like video footage, it provides analysis, interpretation, and additional context, making it a secondary source.
Next is supported by other sources. Supporting by other sources that are well known is also make the information more reliable. For example, there is an account posted on TikTok say that Yoongi, who is also known as Suga from BTS, got his license revoked because he rode an electric kickboard and fell off it trying to park because he was drunk. CNC also posted about Suga from BTS that he was apologized to everyone because he was driving an electric scooter when he drunk. Should we believe this? The answer is yes, because the information is supported by other sources, the CNC page. As you already know, the CNC page is well known by many Cambodian people that the information from this page are reliable. Moreover, supported by other sources is like an evidence to make the information reliable.
My name is Swatin. When judging the credibility of the information, one of the most important factors to consider is the circumstance or context in which the information is provided. This means that you have to take a look at who is sharing the information, their background, and their authority. For example, let's say you come across an article talking about COVID-19, but one is from the Ministry of Health and the other one is from, let's say, for example, Super Regional News. In this context, the one that is from Ministry of Health has more credibility because they have experts that are knowledgeable in public health and disease. In addition, they have the responsibility to manage the public health and they have access to primary data that are reliable. On the other hand, Super Original News, we don't even know who owned the web page.
Now, apart from all the other factors that has already been explained by my other teammate, there is one last factor to help you identify whether the sources are dependable or not. And that factor is to look at the nature of the claim. There's a few things to consider, such as the likeliness of the sources itself, as well as the your understanding of the information that you're trying to acquire. So, for instance, let's say that you're trying to find out whether students actually enjoy group activities or not. So then you would undoubtedly go to the first website in order to find out more information about those topics, right? And those websites usually contain the keyword in your topic, which in this case are group activities and students. But by doing so, there's actually a higher chance of you getting misinformation rather than the correct one, because you would go to the first kind of website without analyzing or evaluating whether that source is to be trusted or not. And thus, with that, we have come to the end of this documentary video on how to identify reliable sources on the internet. I hope you enjoy our little coverage and will find it to be useful in the future if you ever end up having to figure out if your sources are reliable or not. Thank you all for being here, and goodbye.